here. I've got. I don't know if you can see. I've brought up the Chad Little Wikipedia page. Let's do a little. Let's do a little trivia with Jesse. If he how well he knows the Chad Little stats.
Oh shit! I hope he's not watching.
All right, his best finish in the Cup. Do you know?
I do know because he's a broken record on that. Never getting a trophy. A second place.
And what you know which race or what race that was?
Yeah, I do. It was the '98 Texas race.
98 Texas race.
Ding, ding, ding. 1 for 1.
Martin won it.
So you got a guess on how many top 10s he had?
Oh shit! In his career?
Yeah.
I'm
just going off whatever Wikipedia is saying here. This is NASCAR. It says 217 races over 16 years.
I'm gonna say 20.
16. You're right in the neighborhood.
16.
On that. How about Xfinity Series driver? That was his best finish in that. Do you know that?
I've seen all those trophies. He's got a couple wins in that series.
All right, I want to check on that one. His first race was the 1992 Watkins Glen race. It says last win, 95 Ford Credit 500 in South Boston. First win, the 95 Goodies 300 Daytona. Truck Series.
Daytona.
Yep. And let's see, we got a Vegas was the last race, 2002 Samstown 300.
Sounds right.
All right, and let's see. Do you have any, real quick, do you have any fun, interesting NASCAR story with him that he's told maybe that you weren't there, about maybe an old race car driver, Earnhardt, or somebody putting him in the wall or something like that?
I think, some more background on the old man is after he quit racing, he went to work for NASCAR. And so he's been there the last 16, 17 years. And so it's funny. I like to joke with him. He's on I call it the dark side. He's on the dark. He joined the dark side, and so every time I've seen him at the track the last 4 or 5 years, it's fun because the competitor in me always gives him a hard time being the official, being the quote unquote official, and him and I have had some funny go at it where I might have helped the guys bring a part or a piece that would be frowned upon to the track, and he's got to be the one that kind of pulls us aside and said, "What the hell are you doing? You guys are making me look bad." And we've had a couple good ones. I think my favorite that made for quite the stir was in 2018. I was racing Dover, Delaware in the truck, and we had a phenomenal truck. We were so fast that day. Led some laps. And we were a small team at the time still, so it was a big deal. I wasn't full time. I wasn't in the top equipment. It was just family owned stuff, and so we were having a fantastic day, really turning some heads. And I led some laps. We were pitting under green, came down pit road, came off the track second, pitted under green, and I freaking pitted outside the box. And I'm talking 2 inches, my right front tire was sticking out on the line. Actually, it wasn't even sticking over the line. It was on the line. And sure as shit, they freaking penalized me and gave me – and actually at the time, the position my dad was in was he was he was managing director of officiating, so he was over all officials. And sure as shit, he gave me a 1-lap penalty. and so I went from leading the race – and it just so happened that, the guy that I was racing, the fastest truck, blew a tire with 10 to go. So, I kind of give him hell because I probably could have maybe ended up winning that race. And he ended up bringing the hammer down on me hard. So that made for a real interesting family dinner the next night with my mom there, kind of cussing him up and down, being the protective mother. And him just having to sit there and take it. And he was like, hon, what'd you want me to do? It's my job. So, That's one of my favorite ones. But I do got a good Earnhardt story for you guys. So this was back when my dad was racing too. He tells me it was like the early '90s, and they were racing Bristol, and it was like a spring race. So of course it's raining up there, Tennessee mountains. It's going to rain, and so they were trying to drive the track. They had to drive the track. They had to race that night. They had to get the race in too by a certain time for like the noise ordinance or something. So it was a lot of moving pieces. And Mike Helton, who I don't know if you guys know him, but he's the commissioner. He's president of NASCAR, been president forever. He's the Roger Goodell of the sport. So basically, Earnhardt goes up, and my dad's talking to Mike, just kind of shooting the breeze, waiting for the track to dry. And Earnhardt comes up, and he's like, "What the hell are we doing? Are we going to race? Are we not?" Mike's like, "I don't know, man. We're trying." And my dad said, Dale just looks at him, and he's like, "All right, well, let me know when you do. I'm getting in my bus, and I'm driving back home." So he goes out and he gets in his bus and literally starts driving home. And my dad's like, sure as shit, probably an hour later, sun comes out, track dries. He's like, we're 30 minutes from going racing. We're going to go green. And dad's like, next thing you know, a couple of the crew guys are like, where's Earnhardt? He's not here. What are we doing? And TV's ready. They got their window. They're about to go live. And dad said, the story goes that apparently there was a spot in the track that still needed about another hour to dry. And it just so happened that Earnhardt's bus had turned around and was about an hour away from the track. And so they held supposedly they held the race for Dale to get there. And
who had the estimation on how long that it took an hour to drive that puddle?
Spot. That's gonna be
how far are you, Dale? About an hour and 10 minutes, man. That puddle's gonna be about an hour and 15, boys.
Yep. Yeah, we got a puddle here that's not going to get touched for an hour. So,
are any NASCAR officials?
But I think
are any NASCAR? We've heard about baseball teams running the hose pipes out there. Are any NASCAR officials running the hose pipes out for Chad and Jesse Little to wait on you guys to get there, or is that just an Earnhardt thing?
I was going to say, I think rarely could that ever happen again.
Yeah.
Only to someone like that, and it's fun because. It's almost like a folk hero story, like a legend. Just who, that's who he was. That's what you did. And sir, I wish I would have been a little older to watch him. Cause I don't remember just being the older, watching older races.
That's what we always pick with Hunter with about, all the sports and you're the same age as Hunter. Me and Kevin are like the eight.
We were born in 82.
I was born in 78.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm an old man now, but
and then it's like, yeah, I was even watching like The Last Dance Sunday, and it's like, I even missed that. I was pissed. I'm like, could you imagine growing up? But then I was like, we got LeBron, so I guess that's kind of close.
Well, Jesse, how do you think?
I'll make that comparison.
Jesse, how do you think?
Don't open this bag of worms right now.
Well, Jesse, how do you think about crap? You just lost me. I was about to ask him something about.
You're probably going to ask him about how Jordan, handled himself. And
no, it wasn't about that. It was something about. He said LeBron. It was something about that. And I lost my mind real quick. I'll get it back in a second. Jesse, I'm looking at the '98 Texas 500. Chad Little second to Mark Martin. Both of them Jack Roush drivers. Mark won plenty of races. He could have moved over out of the way for Chad, couldn't he?
Yeah, actually, I think there's another funny story to that too, where like
he led 49 races. Laps.
Yeah, Mark was high in the points. Mark was like high in the points and was having a really good year that year, and Dad was leading. I think leading with like they were coming to like 20 to go, and the race had been going green the whole time, and they came down pit road under green, and Dad took 4 tires, and right after. Mark came down and only took 2.
Mm-hmm. And
so he caught him out on the track. No, he passed him while they were pitting on the pit cycle, and Dad was never able to chase him back down. And he was always mad because he said that, like, why didn't we take 2? Like, what the hell? That was like a team order type of thing. Who knows?
It is. Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, weird. He was always salty about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he led 49 laps. It wasn't the most of the day. Actually, the driver led the most was Mayfield with 105. Laps, and then Dale Jarrett had 51. And then, of course, Mr. Little there with 49. He was third in laps led.
So, Jesse, I just got a